And we are live on the PHU Dynasty podcast. This is episode 85, and we are bringing you a 2025 mock draft. This is a what we think the teams are going to do. This is not a what we would do mock draft. So uh, have that signifier right there at the beginning. So if a team makes a stupid pick, like take Shamar Stewart in the top 10, that doesn't mean that I want that or I think that's going to happen. Uh, but it could happen. So it wouldn't be good. Sean, are you ready for a fun mock draft here? We're going to spend a little time here on
Yeah,
the
man.
landing spots as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been consuming my life lately, so I'm ready to go.
It's funny. I feel like this year, I don't know, maybe it's just being on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot, like quite a bit. I feel like there's just so much draft talk this year as opposed to years past. I don't know why that's the case, but I feel like there's just more. Um, I feel like there's just more mock drafts in general that I see for some reason.
Everybody wants to be a pundit
Sean
commentator.
Kuiper.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to be a Mel Kiper.
pretty much.
So we're gonna do the mock draft simulator here on PFF. It's always worked pretty good. And that's probably a better view. So I think this should work fine. So I have it set up for all of the picks. Sean is going to pick the odds, and I'm going to pick the evens. And as I mentioned earlier, we will kind of stop and do a little bit more deeper of a dive on the dynasty relevant positions to make it make sense a little bit more for our league. And maybe we can talk about how that affects our rookie draft as well. So quite a bit to get into. So let's just dive right into this, Sean. So you're going to be picking number 1 here for the Tennessee Titans. We also said we are not going to do any trades in this mock. I know that's been a popular thing recently with this number 1 pick, but we're going to assume that they stay here. So what are we doing, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the belief of it's probably going to end up being like the Giants picking one at the end of the day.
I kind of feel the same way.
But if we're just sticking and picking, I think the Titans are probably going to go to the free agent market for a quarterback. So I think they're going to end up sticking and picking Abdul Carter 101.
All right. So, I mean, let's say, that ends up being the case. Like kind of what quarterback do you think the Titans would be really targeting here in the free agent market? I mean, do they go the cheap route or do they kind of go
I could
Darnold
see
route?
Darnold like like a Nick Foles contract from a few years ago when he went to Jacksonville, kind of contract where it's a little front loaded and easy to get out of. Aaron Rodgers is going to be short term if he goes there too. Like either option, I think it's the short term while they kind of rebuild the rest of this roster and kind of get it ready for a new face in the next few years. But they still got a lot of work to do. I wouldn't want to put another rookie in front of this team.
Yeah, I just don't think they're not ready to win anytime soon, and they're definitely far away on offense in terms of supporting cast members. Their offensive line still isn't great, even after investing all these draft picks. So I still think they have a ways to go, like you mentioned. And like you said earlier, I do think there's a really good chance now. And I think even the Vegas betting lines kind of have it as 50-50 on who picks first between the Giants and the Titans at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants were so desperate last year to move up, to get Drake May. I feel like there's no doubt that they would be just as desperate this year to get a
Yeah,
quarterback.
they'll probably end up costing them less. I mean, what did they offer? Like 3 firsts for
They
that?
offered a lot,
It's crazy. I
which
mean, it would have been worth
might have
it.
been worth it. Yeah. I mean, but still, yeah, I think they might be a year ahead as opposed to maybe a year behind now. But
And the tiebreaker between Carter and Hunter, because I think they're both worth going first overall. I wouldn't really have a problem with either of them going, but the Titans have invested in their quarterbacks on their team. So as far as just like a fit, if you got a pretty close grade between these two, I think they just desperately need an edge player that can kind of go with Simmons and Sweat.
And honestly, I can't remember the last time the Titans had a good pass rusher, like on the edge. It's been years.
Yeah.
Like I literally can't remember. Like Javon Curse is the last one I remember actually being like good. Like I'm sure they've had other guys, but that's the one that just pops out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
they've always been good on the interior, back in the day with like Albert Hainsworth and some of those guys, but they
There's
just
also
don't
like
have
a
edge
little bit
players.
of anti Dion in Tennessee because he was pretty vocal about them firing their previous GM. So
Mm.
that might have something to do with either of the Colorado guys going to Tennessee. But so either way, I'm going Carter 101.
I mean, I'm not worried about Carter's injury. I know he had this little injury, so I think he'll be just fine as the number 1 pick. And if you're picking this high, you want an elite prospect to me. If like I know they need a quarterback, but if they end up, solving that problem in free agency, then you just take the elite guy and walk away, and nobody's gonna fault you for that at all.
Nope.
Number 2, we have the Cleveland Browns. My pick here is going to be Cam Ward. I just think that they will. I think they're going to dip into the free agent market in some way. I don't think they're going to spend big in the free agent market. So I'm looking at maybe another re-sign Jameis potentially. Maybe they're the Kirk Cousins team. Maybe they even go a little bit even cheaper and with more veteran like a Carson Wentz or something like that. I could see them, just not investing a ton, but getting somebody that's in the possibility to be a mentor and start games in the near future in case Cam Ward isn't truly ready. So I think they're going to dip in there and get a quarterback of the future because frankly, they just got to do something. I mean, like they have to get some level of talent at the quarterback position one way or another. And if it's not going to be, a high price veteran like Sam Darnold, or I think really he is the only high price veteran at this point. There's not really a whole lot of other guys to pay big money to, but they need to do something. And I think Stefanski is going to want somebody to work with after last year being such a nightmare. And realistically, just no quarterback just completely knocked them out of all contention. So I just don't think they're going to run that back and risk his job potentially without a quarterback. So why not go Ward here? And of the 2 quarterbacks of the 3, I guess now, if you saw Charles Davis's mock from today, he had quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, probably for the clicks. But I mean, he got me to click. So I mean, Jackson Dart at 3 would. I would have to go buy party poppers. Sean.
There'd be so many party poppers. I
would have to go. I would have to.
We would empty the Amazon warehouse.
Between that and yeah, seriously, I'd have to go find a party city. Between that and Tyler Shuck being in Todd McShay's top 32 big board, like if Tyler Shuck goes in the first round, I will run it. I will.
It's talk yourself into the quarterback season.
There's no way. There's just no way Tyler Shuck's a first round player in any. I don't care what draft it is. He's just not. So I will find any party popper within a 10-mile radius and I will blow it off if that happens. But
you gotta get to Party City before they all go out of business. I think they filed for Chapter 11.
Oh, are they out now? Shit. I don't know if there's any other options. I gotta go. Maybe there's like a Spirit Halloween or something that maybe has some like Halloween, festive ones or something. I gotta go out and find them. I'm sure Amazon's loaded up, so maybe I can find like big ones too. Because like for the EJ Manuel one, we just had like those regular New Year's Eve ones. I wonder if they have some like bigger ones that I could blow off for Tyler Shuck in the first round if that happens, because I will need them. But anywho, Cam Ward here to the Browns. From a fantasy fit, probably don't feel very good about this in terms of dynasty value in our 1 QB league. I mean, I think this would put him probably in the 3rd, 4th-ish round, in our league in terms of just overall dynasty value. To me, he doesn't have quite the rushing upside of either the quarterbacks that went last year in the 2nd round, which are both Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels.
I don't think there's a landing spot for either. I'm going to count this is just like the top 2 quarterbacks in this class where I would be compelled to like take them in the top 3 rounds of our rookie draft.
Yeah, I just like even if one went to like, I'm trying to think of like here's a good discussion. What's a sneaky quarterback spot? Because everybody knows who like truly needs the quarterbacks. The first sneaky one, I guess I would think of is maybe the Saints. I could see it.
Yeah, I was looking at them over the cap earlier just because I wanted to laugh.
It's bad. It's 39 mil over. I looked today as well.
They can save $40 million if Carr gets traded after June 1st on the cap.
Okay.
But that
But who
means
the
you're
hell's
getting
going to trade for him?
2026 picks. That's what I was also looking at. I was like, all right, who has that much in cap space? And there are a good amount of teams with the cap going up as much as it did that could do it. Tennessee is one that Vegas is the other one, but I really doubt he's going to go back to Vegas.
That would be.
But there are a couple options.
I mean, to me, the sneaky spots are like not Denver, sorry, New Orleans, and then like Pittsburgh at 21.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like there's not a whole lot of other spots like the Rams. But that we're talking pick 26 at this point. Like I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I feel like if Sanders finds his way, and we'll see here in a couple of minutes in our mock, but if Sanders slides down, like he could slide really far.
Based off of term of contract and age, Seattle with Geno.
Seattle is absolutely an option. They could be a sneaky one.
He's gonna want, I imagine. I mean, he's of all like the good starting quarterbacks in the NFL, like he's getting paid by far the least. So he's gonna want to renegotiate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is he getting like a year like 30 or like
I
I think it's 3 or 84.
Yeah, I don't even think it's 30.
So I mean, yeah, like he deserves 30. Like if Brock Purdy's gonna make 50,
If I've been playing behind that offensive line for the last 2 years, I would want
true.
more.
The fact that he's been as productive as he's been behind that line is a feat in itself. So, anywho, that's Cam Ward at number 2. We're gonna go to number 3 here with Sean with the New York Giants.
I would say it's between 2. I think if it gets to this scenario where the Giants haven't traded up to 1, that means they've gotten like a bridge quarterback, or Aaron Rodgers and his merry band of men have gone to the same stadium again.
They don't even have to switch housing.
Him and Devontae and everybody. But so that kind of leads me to just want to go with Travis Hunter. If we're just talking about the roster the way it is right now, and they don't go quarterback here, he really fits exactly what they kind of need on both sides of the ball, because they need a corner one. I think Banks is a solid corner that just kind of got miscast as a CB1. He just kind of struggled last year. And then they need somebody besides Neighbors to be a playmaker on offense. So he really does fit very well. Obviously, quarterback is the bigger need, but I'm going to go with Hunter here at 3.
I think Hunter, just terms of receiver talk, I mean, if they do get that, need filled in the offseason for quarterback, then you're looking at Neighbors on the outside, probably Wandale in the slot again, and then probably Hunter on the other side, and at least a decent amount of snaps, you'd imagine, based on what he's talking about playing both ways, which truly might be the case. I mean, that's a lot of speed and talent now that they have on offense. It doesn't look so shitty like it did a few years ago, at least from a skill position standpoint. And of course, Tracy at running back, and my gut is they would add another running back in this draft at some point. Whether it be, probably won't be a high pick or anything, but
not a lot of size in their backfield. Probably like one of the bigger.
Yeah, I could see like a Damian Martinez find his way in or something like that. Just one of those kind of chunkier backs that can pick up short yardage. So, I mean, that would make this offense pretty fun. And then, of course, they have the tight end as well that they drafted last year, who showed up pretty well. I'm blanking on his name right now. Theo Johnson has some speed as well. So that would be a pretty fast offense. So, I mean, at the very least, they would be kind of fun to watch again. So that was kind of cool. From a dynasty standpoint, would Travis Hunter going to the Giants at 3 he's the hardest guy to rank in dynasty. Like, there's no doubt about it.
We really just have to ask ourselves, okay, how many offensive snaps do we think he's going to get per game? Because I don't think either of us think it's going to be like a starter level of snaps on offense. If he's going to be a CB1 in the NFL, it seems impossible. Even for him, that seems crazy. So, like, you get a sub package of like 15 plays, 20 plays a game on offense. Maybe you think that's light?
I think it's hard because if you let's say it's 20, right? Let's just say it's 20 snaps. Of those 20 snaps, how many times do you think Daboll knows he's on the field and is going to target him? Like, because you're not. To me, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to put him on the field.
It's got to be 40%.
It has to be at least half of those snaps. To me,
so
like
20 plays, 40%, 8 targets a game.
8 targets or manufactured touches in some way at this point.
Manufacturers. I would take
So
him probably
he's got to be like a
6 or 7.
I would say late 1
Yeah.
with 8 targets a game, which is
He's so talented that I would want to take the chance on it.
But I feel like too another kind of thought I've had with him on offense is that if he has these limited snaps, and you don't want to just give away that you're going to get him the ball. So like to me, there's not going to be he's not going to get 100% target rate or anything like that when he's on the field, but he's going to have to run some empty routes at some point. But
Yeah.
I feel like from a defensive standpoint, like if he's on the field, I think the key is on him for most plays. You would imagine you're at least aware of he's probably going to get the ball. That should help Neighbors, honestly, more than anything. So I feel like a Hunter pick here would actually be a really good thing for the Elk and Neighbors. So,
like you said, we're doing what we think the teams will do. If it's
right.
me and Hunter's on the board at 3, I am just sprinting to the podium if I'm the Giants.
To me, he's the best player in the draft.
Situation.
He's the best player in the draft. Like he does both things at a borderline elite level, if not elite. So I don't know there's not much to think about. And he's a good kid. He likes fishing. He doesn't do anything. Like he's just a kid that likes fishing and football. Like that's it. That's all he does. So I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, you just go ahead and draft him and run it to the podium to me. This is where the draft starts to get interesting, to me at least, because I feel like outside of Ward and those 2 elite players that I think most people agree with, now it can kind of go in a lot of different directions, especially with Sanders not being picked at 3 here. So with the Patriots pick, this has been quite a topic of conversation after the combine, because I feel like the combine is now moved around some players based on athleticism, that maybe, especially on the offensive line, that maybe we didn't think would be in this conversation. There's also, you can kind of just go almost any direction because this team is so bad. Their roster is awful. I looked at their roster again today just for shits and giggles, and it is so bad. I just don't feel good about anything. So I think if you watched a lot of Patriots games last year, which unfortunately I did because I'm somewhat invested with the receiver game there, they couldn't block anything. And Drake May was running for his life on probably 80% of the plays, and they were going off of script. So I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think Ted McMillan is worth a top 5 pick. I just can't do it. Nope. I don't think the NFL is going to disagree with me. So I'm going to go offensive line. And from there, I think your options become pretty much Armand Membu or Will Campbell, Josh Simmons, Kelvin Banks, like one of those guys. So
I would lean towards the first 2.
Yeah, I feel like Campbell and Membu are like kind of the known commodities at this point. I think Membu is a better fit for a zone scheme. I'm not so sure that would be the perfect fit. I think McDaniels is the OC there. So I don't feel great about that fit. I feel like Campbell he can kind of do whatever you need him to do. He can also play probably guard. So I feel like the flexibility of Campbell, I know he has shorter arms. I thought he had really good tape though. So, I mean, Campbell just seems like a nice, safe pick. Feels like a Vrabel pick to me, where it's just like, let's just take a good, solid football player that can get to the second level, that's got some nastiness to him. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Will Campbell here and give Drake May some help.
Yeah.
So you're on the clock here with 5.
I like it. I'm a little not so worried about his arm length and stuff. I think he's got a lot of Rashawn Slater to him. Like, they're pretty good about that comp.
Slater's a big boy.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to the Jags at 5.
We sure are.
They need a lot of help too. Their defense was pretty bad last year. They could use offensive line as well. Mitch Morris just retired today. But I think it's going to be defense. I think, let's see, where do I have them? Yeah, they're just kind of bad everywhere. So just take best player available that kind of makes sense for them. I'm going to go with Mason Graham. I think this one has been kind of chalk for a while. I'm curious to see what ends up happening as we get closer to the draft, though, because he's not exactly a workout warrior. But I'm going to stick with him for right now. We'll go Mason Graham at 5.
I think that's a good pick. I mean, if you watch the tape on him, he's really good. And I think that there wasn't anything in his testing that was like, oh my God, we can't do this anymore. Like we can't consider him in for the slot anymore. I don't think he hurt himself really in any way. And I just think his tape is so good. And if you need a disruptor in the middle, a guy that's gonna just kind of shore up your interior line, like there's no better player in the draft to me. This is a good defensive tackle draft, a really good defensive tackle draft, a really good edge draft. He's by far the best one in the tackle rooms. So why not take the best guy at a position of need? It'll help out your other edge rushers that they've invested in recently. Just make your run defense better in a division that, frankly, isn't very good, but they can be good at running the ball some of the time. So, like, why not try to shore up that part of the defense? I think there's an opportunity for Liam Cohen and this new GM to kind of go off the rails and just kind of do whatever they want here. So it could be very safe and try to just shore that and pick a nice safe player like Graham, or it could be something completely off the rails that we're not thinking. So I think there'll be an exciting spot on draft day. But for this draft, I think that Mason Graham is a totally fine pick, and I don't think he has a whole lot of bust potential. I think he's just going to be a solid NFL player at the very least. And they can't afford to miss any more of these top 5 picks. Like they just got to start. They got to start making some actual headway in the draft, because Trent Baalke. I mean, of course, last year he had a nice pick with Brian Thomas, but the Trayvon Walker pick over Hutchinson was inexcusable for me. Even at the time, I thought that was a terrible pick. They just haven't been nailing their draft picks, especially in the mid rounds lately. So they need some help.
Walker's credit, he's become a solid player, but first overall
it was just everybody. You just watch Hutchinson play. You're like, yeah, that guy's good. That's the guy. Like there wasn't much to overthink with that pick, and they somehow overthought it. So it's like I never understood that, and I still don't to this day. But Walker's been a solid player. So we're up here at 6 to the Raiders. And without kind of really knowing what happens in the free agency market, I still think that the Raiders are going to do something at the quarterback position from a veteran standpoint. I do feel like the Russell Wilson connection could actually happen. I think they could find somebody cheap like a Jameis Winston. They still have O'Connell on the roster, so he's not like a complete piece of garbage. Like he's fine.
I was thinking about that Winston one earlier, because was Spytek, he was in Tampa when they had Jameis?
I believe he was part of the group that brought in Jameis originally in that draft. Okay. So I think they would have some level of familiarity there. Chances are if the Bucs thought his character or whatever checked out, probably Spytek's on board with that. So my gut is that they're going to go with like cheaper veteran like that, and just to get them by for this year, even if they can't get a draft pick in the first round, even if they miss out on the quarterbacks in the first this year, I still think they could easily bring in a second or third round guy, whether that be I guess who knows with Dart at this point, but Dart, Shuck, Milroe, Kyle McCord, Will Howard. Like there's going to be some guys that if you want to just draft the guy and develop later, there will be one available later on. So I still think, though, with the way that this has fallen, I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders here just because I think the Vegas fit makes sense. It's a bigger market team. I think out of all like these teams, I feel like the one that Dion would be the happiest with would probably be this one, to be honest with you, which does somehow play into this. And I think he's like for this type of system.
47, damn.
I know Trevor hates him. I think for this team and this scheme, he's a good developmental prospect that at least has the accuracy We'll be going. They don't have a bad offensive line. I think they have a solid offensive line there that can at least block and not like they'll be better than Colorado. I can promise you that. So
That's
I
for
just
sure.
feel like this is a solid landing spot for Sanders. And I mean, frankly, from a fantasy standpoint, this is not going to excite me. Obviously they have a lot more work to do on offense. I know Genty has been a popular spot here, but if they believe, I think it's only going to take a few teams to believe in Sanders, and I could see the Raiders being one of them. So let's just roll with that, which I think is going to bring us to the Jets at 7. So Sean, that's going to be you.
Yeah, I think there's definitely multiple ways the Jets could go here. I think though, given what just happened at the combine, I think I'm gonna go with Armand Membo.
I like that pick. I think
I
they
think
need help there.
they have a pretty solid offensive line outside of the right tackle, and he honestly, my comp for him, like before the combine, was Elijah Vera Tucker. So,
I mean, he's athletic. There's no doubt about it. I'm a big Membu fan. I didn't see him doing that on tape, but it's impossible to really see linemen stand out like that on tape for a lot of times. Now, they did run zone blocking at Missouri, which was pretty much the only watchable thing about Missouri this year because they're so bad offensively. But this is a guy that got to the second level.
yeah,
Often.
I feel like he'll be able to do everything just considering he's only 20 and he's got that size already to him.
Right.
I think he's
Can't even drink a beer yet.
I'm not too worried about the scheme that he's going into for him in particular, just because of that. So
I just think he'd fit better with his own scheme. Like
sure.
I would rather see, like if I could see him on the 49ers, I would be so excited.
Yeah, and Aaron Glenn coming over, the Lions ran a lot of zone. So we'll see if he's bringing over, I believe, was it their quarterbacks coach?
I think it was their quarterbacks coach or their pass game coordinator, one of those two.
Yeah, I think it's going to look pretty similar to what they were doing, especially if they can get another strong offensive lineman in. Like that offensive line could be very good next year if he works.
I mean, and both of the guys that they brought in last year, the Cowboys, Tyron Smith is old. I don't even know if he's still under contract, to be honest with you. And then the other guy as well, I think we're both older options. Neither one of them had any sort of, they wouldn't prevent you from taking a tackle. And Membu could play guard if need be. So, I mean, they're totally between him and Fashanu that they took last year, they're going to be looking much better on the O-line.
I'm blanking who their other guard is, but the Tippmann was also very good last year.
Yes, yeah.
Center, and then ABT is a very good player.
Yeah, so. They will be a nice offensive line for the future. And if you're talking about the Jets and Aaron Glenn in general, Aaron Glenn knows the value of a great offensive line, watching them build the Lions line over the years. So like you have to imagine that he's thinking something similar here. And Membu on this line is going to make that running game really nasty with all those running backs that they have there.
John Simpson, that's who I was leaving out.
Oh yeah, Simpson's also, a very quality player.
He was good. Yeah, man, that offensive line could be great next year with that pick.
All right, so I'm going to try something here. We have 2 people watching live, and I'm not sure who they are. But let's go with a celebrity pick here. I'll give you a minute to decide this pick. Put in the comments. Whoever comments first, we're going to make that pick. Don't make it something stupid like Tyler Shuck. But if it's a good pick, we'll put it in there for a celebrity pick. And then Sean, while we're waiting, let's talk about the Panthers here at 8. This kind of feels like it's going to be a defensive player.
It's got to be a defensive player.
I mean, they were really bad. Really, really bad.
I could see either of the Georgia guys going here. I think that's a pretty split opinion based off of like who you like.
Mm-hmm. Trevor Lowen, Walker.
This could be a team that reaches on Shamar Stewart. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't do that, but
I'm trying to think. So who's their GM is Dan Morgan, and like we don't have a lot of history for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like my gut is that he's not going to like workout warrior players. I think he's going to want a dog.
Yeah, I know Evero runs a pretty like it doesn't you can't pick his scheme up super quickly. Obviously, that defense was just absolutely terrible the first 4 weeks, and they weren't good at any point, but they definitely got a little bit better through the year. But they need to be able to stop the run, and they need to be able to get to the quarterback. So
Yeah,
I
they're
think
they're they're not good really anywhere on defense. I mean, Michael Williams absolutely could be in the conversation. James Pierce, if you believe in him, I
yeah,
guess
I
could
mean
be in the
it's
conversation.
everywhere but defensive tackle. I feel like they're probably okay there. I don't think they're
I
great,
don't
but
think they could
it's
take
gotta
one at
be
8.
edge.
I don't. I think they could take a D tackle in the second actually, because I feel like with a high second.
Mhm.
Um, actually, I'm not sure if they have a high second with that trade to the Bears, but if they did, that would be a good spot to take one, I think, because guys like Tyleik Williams, a couple other TJ Sanders, a couple other options down there. So let's see. Let me check the comments here, make sure there's anybody's put in any options here. Whoever's watching live, not yet. So maybe we'll have to make a pick to keep
Yeah.
this thing rolling here.
Carolina picks 8, and then they pick 57th, so not early in the second round.
Yeah, so that's not ideal. I mean, I don't think that would force them in any way to take a guy here. So I mean,
Could be a trade down team too.
could be a trade down team. They absolutely need a lot of things. So, I mean, they could easily just trade down and acquire more picks. I also think a dark horse here is Will Johnson at corner. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that that could happen. They're not really good in the secondary either. And Will Johnson is, I think he's one of the better players in the draft. Obviously, his injury not ideal this year, but he's really, really good. So maybe teams don't discredit him for that, and he goes higher than most people are thinking. Um, you know, I I'm gonna go Shamar Stewart. I hate him. I just think the NFL is gonna love him.
I agree. He does everything but finish, man. Like he had a
He
lot of
disrupts the pocket.
yeah.
Like there's no like I've watched a lot of him because I think there's a very good chance he is a Bucks draftable player. Like if he makes it
Sure.
there. Um,
Dustin said Shinty.
yeah, okay.
The
Well,
position
maybe he was thinking
great.
about for the Bears in a couple of picks.
They've got
Uh,
a they've got a rookie that tore his ACL and 2 guys that they've paid over the last 2 years. Let's
yeah,
get Shinty.
I'm gonna overrule that one. I'm gonna veto that one, Dustin. Um, there's no doubt they could take a running back later because I still think they need
Sure.
depth there.
Yeah, they're gonna
But
need this
I
is the guy.
can't. There's zero unless they love running backs that much that
Collect them
they.
all.
I mean, it would after trading up for Brooks last year, that would be such a bad decision on the GM's part. But I've seen stupid things in this league. So let's go Shamar Stewart. Like I said, like I don't feel he's a bad player. Like he disrupts the pocket. I think he had a very high disruption rate on PFF's rating. I've watched a bunch of games of him already where like he just doesn't get there. Like he's close, but there's nobody else to push the pocket his way. Scourton is good as well, but they had no interior presence on that team to push the pocket. Um, I just don't feel good about him being a top 10 pick. Like I would if he was a late first, kind of in that Chop Robinson area, last year, that makes a lot more sense for me for him. I just don't think he's going to go that late. I just think there's too many tools. I mean, I would convert him to damn tight end. The guy's he's got everything you want as a tight end. Like he's 6'7", 260, runs fast as hell. Just can he catch? Let's put him in there. Let's put him in there. I already know he's got the hand positioning for blocking, so let's just roll it. So if he doesn't work out at edge rush, you could always convert him. We're gonna go to 9 here, Sean, with the Saints. This is gonna be you. Who do you got here for the Saints?
Yeah, I mean this one is another team that just has so many holes that it really is going to be like it's going to be a pick that kind of trickle down effect where teams aren't going to know exactly where they're going probably, and it's going to affect the next few picks. It's tough. Like in my head, anytime a new coach comes in, all right, is he an offensive or a defensive coach? All right, he's an offensive coach. He's going to want to make his point in the draft. They could use a guard. It's too early for a guard, I think, for what's out there. I think I did this on my last mock that I did, but I'm gonna give them Tyler Warren again because I think they need somebody that can block. They need somebody that can catch the ball. And he can do both. He can do both.
I mean,
I think you can run an offense around him.
Yeah, I mean, like going back to Kellen Moore, as the play caller, he's historically used tight ends very frequently. Going back to Schultz and Ferguson, and then of course, I mean, Dallas Goedert had quite a good run there in the postseason. He's not gonna. This is a position that they just don't. I don't even think they have one on the roster right now.
It's Foster Moreau.
That's it. I mean, and that's
Jason Bill's torn ACL, who is probably going to be a cap casualty, I would imagine.
I mean,
considering
if you're just looking at if you're looking from a talent standpoint, we got to add talent to this roster. This is the way you go. Like, he's a talented player. He can help you in multiple assets of the offense, blocking and receiving. He's a locker room guy. This is just a guy that just makes sense to be a top 16 pick to me, top half of the first round. Frankly, I've kind of been watching a lot more of Loveland recently. I'm starting to turn the corner on Loveland. I'll be honest with you. I started off not being as high, and then now that I've watched more, you could argue Loveland here at 9. Honestly, I really think that Loveland's going to go high.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that he's got a higher floor as a blocker, and I think that's going to matter for this team for what they're probably going to want to do in offense. So for that, I think he's just a better pick. This team needs so much on defense, though. It's going to be. I honestly would be pretty surprised if it's not a defensive pick. I just think I really hate. I just never believed that an offensive coach coming in is going to take a defensive player.
Well, I think that's a good point, but I also think from an offensive standpoint, outside of Olave, this team has nothing in the pass game. Like, they just don't have players. Like, of course, you have the great Rashid Shaheed on the outside.
I love Shaheed.
I love him too, but he got hurt. Olave is banged up a lot. Has a concussion history. They just don't even have a third option in the pass game.
This team was rolling out the worst offensive skill players outside of Alvin Kamara I've seen in a long time last year.
I think that last game against the Falcons,
MVS was the best receiver.
Yeah, they had MVS
last year,
like Kendre Miller,
Dante Pettis.
They had Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the field at times. No tight end to speak of. It's just they just don't have talent on offense, and I think an offensive coach comes in, there's a good chance that they take a tight end here, or a receiver for that matter. It could have been Ted, honestly. There's a lot, like you said, a lot of ways they could go because they have a lot of holes. Let's go to 10. I'm gonna go chalky here. I'm just gonna go Genty. I think he's too talented for the NFL to be if I'm thinking about the NFL, I think he's gonna be top 10 on most people's big board and just overall talent. And if you're the Bears, who just picked up a couple of interior offensive linemen already, with Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, which to really shore that up before the draft and free agency really starts, I thought those were both great moves to kind of give them at least a floor so that they're not pigeonholed into taking an offensive lineman. Now you can just kind of go wherever you need to go. They have decent tackle play already. I think they can find another one. But realistically, Ben Johnson, the running game, I know he's talking about, I'm going to create a new offense for Caleb Williams, whatever. He's going to want to run the ball. Swift is not the guy that's going to carry multiple, 20 carry games. He's just not that guy anymore.
Ben Johnson's already had him once. He doesn't want him again.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go back to the well. And I don't think there's going to be a player like this, where you can get a blue chip kind of guy at 10 at this point, other than him. And I think if the NFL thinks blue chippy, which I feel like the Lions have over the last, probably 4 or 5 drafts since that regime got there, they went blue chippy speed with Jameson Williams. They went blue chip with Aiden Hutchinson. They went blue chip with Penny Sewell. They did blue chip with Jahmyr Gibbs. It just makes too much sense for this to happen. So I'm going to go Genty here, which would, in our league, would make him 101, I imagine. So
yeah, until the last couple of days, I don't think I would have ever put Genty there, just given what they need on their offensive line. But
yes,
I like it now.
Yeah, I think we'll do another one of these after free agency is kind of settled too, because I'm sure that'll change this again. But But
can see them going
right now,
after,
this seems like it makes
yeah,
sense.
see them going after Drew Dahlman in free agency too at center. They still need a center.
Yeah, they do need a center extremely bad.
That's me.
It is you.
I think this is going to be probably it's going to be defense. I'm pretty confident of that in the draft. Their defense is got old, expensive. Hargrave is getting dropped. Trevor Ward is gone. Hufanga is gone unless they resign him. I'm going to go with Will Johnson here. I think he just kind of fits exactly what they want to do on defense. I could definitely see like a Mike Green going here too. But I just think Will Johnson is just that corner one that they need to shore up the defense. I know they definitely need that. So.
Well, historically, I really don't feel like the 49ers have used a high pick on a corner, even a safety, really, for that matter. I can't really remember the last time I remember them doing that early, whether it be the first, second, whatever round, because they've been good at finding them later. But I think if Will Johnson was fully healthy, I think you're talking about him as a top 10 player in this draft.
I agree.
And I think if you're looking at a value standpoint and the team needs, I think you could go offensive line here, but also corner.
If Membo is here, I would definitely consider it. I think Colton McKivitz is not a very good right tackle, and that would be him and Pooney next to each other.
Yes.
Over the next few years, that'd
been a lot of fun.
Would be great. Yeah.
And my McCaffrey stocks, if he plays, would be very nice. Let's go to pick 12 here. This is the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have the opportunity to draft Genty. I kind of have
anyway.
That's what I've been telling. That's what you telling me before the Denver game. This is a tough one. They need a lot too. They're not going to do anything in free agency, very likely. Jerry's already
all that cap space just so they won't do anything.
I'm not really sure what they're gonna do.
Makes sense.
My gut here is that they do what they always do and just take a lineman and just go trenches. And I think they're gonna go Kelvin Banks because he can play guard, he can play tackle, and they, obviously with Tyler Guyton, that's work. He's a work in progress that they took last year. Terrence Steele is their other tackle. They still need guard play. I think he'd be a good fit there. And this has been a team historically that has just always built through the trench play over the last 5-10 years. So I just don't feel like some of the value here. I think the only other player I would maybe start considering here is Tet. On the offensive side,
going in my mock,
which makes sense because they absolutely need a second receiver unless you believe in Jonathan Mingo. I don't. So, I mean, I just feel like they could probably find somebody in the second that would be a solid 2 option. And I don't think they need to take a receiver in the first. I think they could find a number 2 somewhere, whether it be a number 2 in free agency, maybe bring back Cooper for all we know. That seems like a Jerry thing to do. So I'm not going to go receiver here. I'm going to keep it with Banks. And I think next up for you is going to be the Dolphins.
Yep, it sure do be. They're interesting just because of they have a lot of free agents.
They need a lineman. They're really bad, and they need some help on that O-line.
I don't think they have any safeties on their roster right now. A safety at 13 feels
high, but you can't.
They have no. It's got to be interior on either end of the ball. I think the defensive tackles are good, but it feels a little early for the next defensive tackle off the board right here.
I'll be honest with you. I probably wouldn't go defensive tackle here because I think there's going to be value in that second round.
I agree. But interior offensive line right now?
I think they would have loved to have Banks, and I think they would have loved to have Membu.
Yeah.
I don't think those are in the cards right now. Let's go to OT and interior offensive line.
I don't understand. I keep seeing everybody mock Booker.
I don't think he's a good fit for that.
It doesn't make any sense scheme-wise to me because he's not a guy that's going to be an effective outside zone.
He's a phone booth guy.
Yeah.
He's my kind of guard. I love guards like that.
He's an ideal like Eagles guard, like just inside zone, just fuck you up and
Just
push you back.
don't move and don't let the guy move us back, and we're good to go. Like
Yeah,
it's really it.
It's too early for any of those other guys.
I mean, you could maybe argue. I don't know. I like Zabel a lot. I wouldn't hate that.
I do too. I
He
just
could
don't
play everywhere.
I think you could trade back probably like 5 spots and still get Zabel there. But well, Seattle is probably
I
where
think
my
Seattle's kind of your starting point in most ideas.
Yeah. I really think it could be safety. It might be early.
It could.
I Vince, don't yell at me. I think I'm gonna go Eamon Worry.
Oh boy, he wants the athleticism.
Teams are gonna love it. He's got good tape too. It's not just athleticism. He's got very good tape.
Mike McDaniel loves speed on all sides of the ball. So I mean, he's the guy for that.
Yeah, I've got him and Starks basically 1A, 1B. But
I'm a Starks guy.
Yeah,
I want to love Eamon Worry. I just have reservations about guys like this because I've seen it before where they really don't work. That being said, if they hit hard, and you could end up with like a complete monster back there in the Cam Chancellor, the Kyle Hamilton, like all those kind of guys, like those could work, but they also I just really love the way he flies to the ball. So like he's exciting to watch, but I still think there's a lot of bust factor here. So I feel like Starks out of the two a little bit safer. But if you want to swing for the fences, then sure, Eamon Worry is fine.
Maybe a different team, I would go with Starks, but just given how the Dolphins kind of operate as far as like swinging for players,
they do like doing that.
I'm going to go with Eamon Worry.
They did it last year with Chop Robinson. I mean, he was kind of a raw player as well.
I mean, they traded up to get Achane.
True. I mean, like
he's an outlier.
They're just going for it. Yeah, I don't hate that. I really don't, because it's like if you have the coaching in place, like guys like this can work. So I like the pick. We're here at 14 with the Colts, who just need to get better everywhere, it feels like, except for maybe running back. They have quite a few options here as well. I mean, Starks is certainly in play. I think I wouldn't put Edge in play here, I don't think, after they took Latu early last year. I think Colston Loveland's certainly in play.
It feels like a chalk pick to me, but
all right. I think if Eamon Worry was here, he would be the pick because they love
100%.
They love athletes.
That's the other reason I didn't pick Starks.
So I think if they're gonna stick with the athlete thing, I think you probably have to go Loveland because he is a difference making tight end. Whether you like his blocking or not, or care about his blocking or not, there's not a lot of guys his size that can run like he does and move like he does, which I think the NFL is going to see that and be like, okay, there's only so many tight ends that can move like this. Let's just get a guy, especially because they need it.
I've already been all the way there on both these tight ends, so you don't have to hype me up for this. I'm here for it.
I mean, obviously earlier in the offseason here, I was lower on Loveland. I have definitely come up on him. I at first I thought he might not be a first round guy. He's definitely a first round guy. Now the question is how high.
The only skill player I have over either of those tight ends is Jinty.
I mean, that's saying quite a bit this year. I mean, this is an interesting receiving year, and we still have McMillan on the board. Trevor has him ranked 3. I've seen him ranked as high as 2. I've seen him over Carter a couple of times, which I can't believe. I just can't get there right now on that. But that's going to bring us here to pick 15 in the Atlanta Falcons, who need a lot on defense. They haven't taken defense ever, it feels like.
They sure do. Let's give them... Which edge are they going to get?
Oh, they have...
They're going to get one of them.
They got to get one. I mean...
Let's go with Jalen Walker here.
All right, Jalen Walker, who they have as a linebacker.
Like pretty good value at this point. Tough player to kind of figure out. Like,
well, here's the thing, Sean, is they need both linebacker and edge. So
There you go.
wherever
Why not
you end up
both?
playing him, they need it. So they need it both. So screw it. Put him somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting player. I'm higher on him, I think, than some people are. Like I think he fits fine here in the middle of the first. I've seen people a lot lower on him. But I think he's an interesting option
Yeah. I mean,
because he can do a little of everything.
he's 8 on my board. So I like him quite a
It's
bit.
okay, so you're higher than me then.
He's my edge too.
So that says a lot to me. I
I could, but they're after Edge 1, like there's weaknesses on all these guys. So I think it's a good depth edge group, but I don't think there's a ton of like, yeah, this guy's got it. Like everything is like checked off the box kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few guys. I think there's gonna be a run on edge, and I think we're kind of getting to it here. I think I'm gonna go Mike Green here. This is
Yeah.
a team that doesn't have pass rush. They haven't had it for a long time. I thought about Jihad Campbell here as well because they still need linebackers despite taking 78 linebackers over the last decade and none of them work out at all. But from a position value standpoint, I think Green makes more sense. And I think Green is one of the best pass rushers in this class. I think he showed everything you needed to see at the Senior Bowl. He was so good that he didn't even play or didn't even show up for the practices the rest of the week. He did play 2 days and left after that. So I think that's a pretty good indicator.
We've gone in order of my edge class right now. So
okay, so good. So I don't have to convince you, is what you're saying.
Nope.
So we'll go Mike Green here at 16. That's going to bring us to 17 with the Bengals.
We'll say my edge 4 might surprise you, but we're not going to get to him right now. Now, I'm going to go with just the biggest son of a bitch on the defensive line in this class. I'm going to go with Kenneth Grant. Just feels
he's a big boy, and he's really good.
He's really good. He's still like his floor is so high, but he's still got such a high ceiling that he can get to because he's really not much of a pass rusher yet, but he's got so much talent.
He's a beast.
They got to start somewhere on that defense, and from what I've heard, like their new defensive coordinator is more about developmental than he is like what they've had before with
Anarumo.
Yeah, with Lou, who was more of like they had their best seasons when they were signing all those free agents, and they haven't drafted a good defensive player in years.
So, no, they used to be like the kings of drafting. Like Vince will tell you, we watched countless drafts where it was like, man, look at them getting value in the third. Look at them getting value in the second on defense. Look at them taking Geno Atkins and guys like this that we love. And it hasn't been that way in the last, I don't know, 5 to 7 years.
Now, I will say if Hendrickson gets moved before the draft, I would probably have gone like Michael Williams here instead, just because they would have had nobody on the edge, really.
I think they need help in the secondary. I think they need help all
over
over
their defense. Front four is not like if Hendrickson's gone, Hubbard retired. They didn't have any good.
True. Hubbard retired too.
It's literally just the edge they got from Clemson 2 years ago. They drafted. I'm blanking on his name, but he's done nothing.
He's been bad.
He was a
that
first
should tell you everything because we don't even remember his name.
So they definitely need safety help too. But once again, I just think they're going to build it from the front back would be my guess.
Yeah, I would agree. So this brings us to the Seahawks, who really need interior offensive line.
They sure do.
They're not good on the interior line. They have now released Lockett and potentially are trading away DK, which is interesting because we have Ted McMillan here. And it's like, do we want to take him, what seems like decent value now? Or do we want to just shore up the line and find a receiver elsewhere?
Given what Seattle is asking for Metcalf, I don't think they're actually very interested in moving him because if anybody trades a first and a third for Metcalf, that is
he's going to need a new contract too.
Wild overpay.
He runs straight. He's really good at running straight.
I would think about it maybe for a second, but I don't think I would trade a second for Metcalf if I'm going to have to pay
Knowing that I have to pay him, I agree. Like if it's like, oh, he's already on a good solid deal where it's cheap, then sure. Like maybe we could start talking about the first. but
And
a first and a third is kind of
he
nuts.
he's one of those players where the hype is hovering a lot higher than the substance that you get. He's good.
He's a very good player. I honestly think he's still an underrated player.
I I don't know. He doesn't.
Statistically, he's been really freaking good. Like,
Yeah, I think for a guy his size, he's pretty bad at the catch point,
it's not
which
his thing.
which
Yeah.
would surprise a lot of people. I think his route tree is pretty limited. Um, so he's not like and I think he's a guy that's going to want like whatever T Higgins gets. I think that's what he's going to be aiming for, and I just don't think it's worth that money.
I thought I saw some tweet, and maybe it was about a different player, but I'm pretty sure it was about DK. That like statistically for the first, for his career so far, like he's on pace with Mike Evans, basically statistically. Like he's kind of done the same things, which is surprising because like it just doesn't feel like he is blowing, because he's kind of like Evans was early in his career, where it was like barely 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, the 6 whatever touchdowns. So I can see it for sure. He's also managed to stay mostly healthy throughout that time. I think he had 1 year where he was kind of banged up, but I kind of agree. I feel like there's a good chance they don't trade him, and in that case, they definitely won't take a receiver here. Just a conversation I was kind of interested in having. With that being said, I think it's between Booker and Zabel here.
Who's their new OC?
Their new OC
it's
is Clint
Kubiak.
Kubiak, who's a zone guy.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not Booker, and to me, that's Zabel. So I'm gonna do that.
Wow, we really knocked that out. Let's go.
Really made just process of elimination there.
I like Kubiak. I think he got screwed last year.
He totally got screwed. He made that offense work somehow.
Those first 2 weeks were. Honestly, I think he's closer to those first 2 weeks than he was the rest of the season. Just
team had no talent at the end of the year.
Everybody got hurt.
I think Zabel's really good. I think he's like in the Barton category. Like I think he's really, really good. I think he's deserving of a top 20 pick. I don't know if he'll go there, but I like him a lot.
Where is he on my? Where are you? He's 25 on my board. Honestly, he could be higher.
Like to me, he's not as nasty as Barton was, and maybe isn't quite as dense, I guess is the word I would use. But he is, from a footwork standpoint, from just an overall hand placement, like he crushed the Senior Bowl. I think he's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. He is like, frankly, if the Bucs needed like an offensive lineman, he is a Bucs guy. Like that is like a lock it in Bucs guy, just from a overall, like they love small school. They love like versatility. Like he would have been a perfect Bucs pick if they needed him. Speaking of the Bucs, they're on the clock here, Sean. So who are you going?
Oh boy, you gave me the Bucs. Oh Jesus!
And you can't take Shamar Stewart, thank God.
No, because he's not even. Would have been outside of my top 5 edges.
This is not what you would do though, Sean. Remember that.
I know.
Bucs love taking or pass rushers that have athletic traits that don't do anything.
Yeah, well, if it's what I would do, I'll tell you once we get to that player. But
perfect, sure.
Shit. Let's see. Who's the next?
I will say I have heard, just listening to Peter Report recently, that there's been reports of them liking Campbell.
That's who it seems like end up going with here.
Scott was thinking that that's probably not going to be the case. I don't know if that's smokescreen or whatever, but I mean that's just what I've heard recently.
It was weird to smokescreen a linebacker pick just because this would be one of the higher linebacker picks over the last few years.
We freaking need a linebacker.
I mean, shit, I saw was it Jeremiah Mocktet to the Bucs? That doesn't make any sense.
I've seen that.
But that's because I
think that's only if Godwin leaves.
Yeah.
Which I don't see happening either.
I don't see that happening. I'm going to go with Campbell.
Okay.
For now. I think that just fills
I think he's really good.
And get after the quarterback too, so he's gonna give him a little bit of both.
The only thing I can see is, like, to Scott's point, is they've probably felt a little burnt with the White pick, and I don't want to say he's I don't think he's the same player, but he has similar assets coming out where he was like, oh, he can rush the passer, he can do this, he can do that. Like, okay, cool, but I wonder if they feel like that they don't want to invest again in the first. That being said, I think Jihad Campbell's probably worth the pick because he's not a top 5 guy like White was. So I don't think there's a need to go up and get him or anything like that. They could even trade down, honestly, and maybe get Campbell, frankly, if somebody felt the need to.
Yeah.
So let's keep moving here. We got the Broncos at pick 20. I'm gonna go Tet here. I think it's time. And I think the Broncos love big receivers.
We're gonna hash this one out, huh?
I mean, hey,
you got 15 minutes. You ready?
I mean, dynasty relevant. We sure can do it.
I watched every single target and touch of Tet literally this morning, and I
love it.
I like him, but I don't love him as a receiver.
I think this is right about where he should, somewhere between 20 and 28.
He does not a super dynamic route runner to me. He's not very sharp.
He's fine.
Like his outs or anything like that. I maybe it was because they were so bad this season, but he just looked very disinterested. Which
in
is
that Colorado game, he looked kind of bad.
And Arizona State.
Which is Arizona State. You should be crushing them.
Well, they were good this year.
Well, I'm sorry. I was thinking the year before, actually. Before he wasn't even good.
Like, I watched him unnecessarily try and make one-handed catches when he could have easily put 2 hands up for a ball. Like, stuff like that kind of worries me. Like, you're still putting out tape to get drafted in the NFL. I don't know why you're doing these things. He can get kind of muscled for his size, which is concerning. So
he doesn't beat press well.
He barely faced any press, so it's hard to.
I mean, the times that he did, it didn't look good.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna comp him, I think he's gonna end up being a little more athleticism, Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I said earlier in the offseason. I feel like
it's the best.
It's not that different of a player. Now, that's like I said, Pittman's a fine receiver. I just don't think he's gonna have that elite upside, which is fine. But then I'm looking at the teams here. I think the Broncos prefer these kind of receivers, though. These longer.
Yeah. I mean, I would like him if he was in that Vele role.
Right.
I think I'd still like Sutton, obviously, to be the X. I think Sutton's a very solid X receiver in the NFL.
I think Sutton's very underrated.
Yeah. The only other thing when I was watching him is he doesn't track the ball downfield very well either.
Yeah, I guess I could see that for sure. I mean, I never, as honestly, one of the things I didn't really focus on. So
when he's going vertical, it doesn't look great. When he's going across the field, it looks perfectly fine. But vertical, I think that's where a lot of his drops came to me. So
yeah, and that's the part of the game that he's kind of supposed to be good at. It's that's his thing. So
he does crush in the intermediate, the 10 to 15 range.
Oh, he's great.
He's fucking awesome,
and he catches everything.
He is so good at finding space.
Yeah, I think if he's in his a team that allows him to be creative and on option-y type things in the middle of the field, he would be a great fit for that. That's a perfect spot.
Yeah, and it worked out for him this year because there's just so much breaking down because Fafita was literally just running for his life,
and he's awful
the entire season. So I mean, that offensive line was fucking. He was getting collapsed on under 2 seconds every time.
And he's never had another quarterback. That's been his quarterback since
so that'll be interesting. His catch radius is obviously insane. So
yeah, he's a giant.
If the Patriots went crazy and took him at 4, I wouldn't love it, but I could see him being very productive with May because May's not afraid to just put it on.
No, he'll put it there. He'll
put
it wherever it needs to go.
So
I'm less scared of him landing there. I would consider him high in the first of our rookie dynasty draft.
Yeah,
higher than here.
For me, it just comes down to I feel like there's a tier of 1 for a lot of people at the top of the draft at receiver, and for me, it's a tier of 3 players.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. It kind of just, I feel like it's like kind of pick your flavor, honestly. There's quite a few different
Mhm.
types of receivers this year. So let's go to our next pick here. That's quite a bit of time on McMillan.
Oh, do I get to pick for the Steelers?
You do
Hell
get to pick for the
yeah,
Steelers.
brother. Give me Hampton.
All right. Which would make him the lock 102 for me. I thought that you could have maybe gone Golden there at this point.
Yeah, but they love taking running backs in the first round.
They sure
They
do. That's one
they
of
love
their.
taking receivers in the second round.
I mean, assuming that Najee's not back, like he's a great fit. He's a perfect fit for this spot.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't think
he's
back.
rock solid.
I think once you get your fifth year declined, it's pretty rare to come back after that.
It seems unlikely, and I just don't think Najee is really a special back. I think he's fine. He played really well last year. I'll give him that. Like he really showed up, but it was a contract year. I think that had something to do with it. A little bit of prove yourself kind of a thing.
And I think Hampton's a lock at this point to go in the first round.
I still sometimes see him not in the first. Like
I think that's wrong.
I watched like 3 mocks today, and he didn't go in the first in any of them. So I feel like he's at the very least a late first kind of player.
Did you hear the whisperings of teams having him and Genty like on like the same level?
I mean, I saw that at the combine, and I mean,
like, I don't know if
I trust me. You're not going to find many bigger Hampton fans than me.
No, this
But
podcast
I
is
still am
good for
taking
Hampton.
Genty first without question. Like I don't think it's not a 1A 1B situation to me.
Hampton is the top 15 player for me in this draft, so I'm gonna take
But
him.
I have like Genty like 3.
Right.
So like to me that's still not close.
Right.
I don't think he's a blue chip player.
I'd agree, and I just think you get a guy like that, and like you go to the second round. Is the difference between like a Golden and a guy that you can get in the second round huge compared to like getting like honestly like a borderline blue chip player to me? I don't know. That's how I kind of view it, and I this is a team that just loves to invest in the running back position in draft capital.
So here at 22, we have the Chargers. They do not have the opportunity to take really any of the Michigan guys at this point. So that kind of eliminates Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, and Colston Loveland. So those are off the board for us. They just lost Bosa today. So there's probably an edge need here as well.
It's just Tuipulotu left.
There's just not a whole lot going on. I like some of the value here for sure at the safety position with Starks, but they have James. I can't remember off the top of my head who the other guy is there. So I don't feel like that's likely. There's a few guys I like on offense. I think Golden is in play. I think Igbuga's in play. I think Burden's in play.
I will say, given how their draft worked out for them last year, I would be pretty surprised if they went receiver in the first round, just considering they found Ladd in the second, and both picks worked out so well. And maybe that's not the correct way to look at it, but just Harbaugh is just such a meat and potatoes drafter. Like that team is just so meat and potatoes that I really think it's just going to be trenches. But
I could see that, but part of me also thinks like he knows. I think he's seen a lot of college football recently and just like knows who just like these solid, rock solid kind of guys are. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go Igbuka. I think he's seen a lot of them. I think he's worthy of the pick. A, he's seen a lot of them. B, and then C, they do need another receiver. I think Palmer's a free agent. Nobody trusts Quentin Johnson as far as they can throw him, and they just need another option. And I think tight end in the second is definitely going to be in play. I think they're going to have trenches in play. But I think Igbuga's he's destined to go somewhere between 20 and 32. So if that's the case, then I'm okay with taking him right here.
You're ruining my dream of him going to Sean McVay, but it's fine.
Well, hey, I mean, that's certainly...
That is the dream.
I think, honestly, a couple of these other receivers could easily go there. I mean, we'll see what happens here in a couple of picks.
All right, Green Bay next.
Green Bay, one of the absolute hardest teams to mock draft for every year. Never know what they're going to do.
It feels like it's going to be corner edge.
That's what I say every year, Sean. I say it every year. and they take some like Jordan Morgan or something. Like nobody knows.
Well, took Van Ness 2 years
Okay,
ago.
that was yeah, but that's like still like they just take
And
they never
Gutekunst,
take what you think they should take.
Gutekunst came out and said the pass rush wasn't good enough last year at the combine.
Okay, so that's
which really makes me lean towards them. So who's a freaky athlete
I
that's
mean,
available?
Pierce
Just
is
like,
kind of that guy. Ezraku's kind of that guy.
I
Michael
think,
Williams is still on the board.
Oh yeah, give it Michael Williams. That's perfect for them.
That seems like
that's perfect.
A classic Packers pick right there. I'm good with that.
I thought he had already gone, so that's perfect.
Yeah, that's he probably slid a little far there. All right, so we got the Vikings on the board. They
Real
need.
Quick, I will be shocked if they pick at 24. They have 4 picks. In this draft.
They need to trade down. Frankly, it's just like who's going to trade up for any of you guys left. I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
I think they need interior line. I think they need defensive line. I think they need corners. They really need corners.
Yeah, very badly.
I mean, Jahdae Barron would be a nice little pick here.
Whew.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah,
the value works there.
I like Barron a lot. I have a hard time because I assume he's going to be a nickel in the NFL. Could be wrong. He played outside this year at Texas.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do he's gonna be like a Tyke Smith type, like a little of both, like little safety, little nickly.
Yeah, he's just a guy I want to be around the ball though. Like
you just want him on your team.
Yeah,
like just get him on your team and find a spot for him. Like he'll be just fine. I think he'd be a nice fit. Like if we didn't take Tyke Smith last year, like I would have loved to have him on the Bucs. But then I'd have to look at another Barron Bucs jersey, and like I'm not gonna feel good about that. So maybe not. All right, we got the Texans here.
Right. So, this is.
May I help you? I don't know.
2 hours ago, I would have said this is 100% a receiver. But
2 hours ago is a long time ago.
They decided to pay and trade for a receiver. Christian Kirk he's not like a huge needle mover, but like that just gives them a little more flexibility in the draft to me. Because they need.
I mean, yeah, to me, he's still a slot guy. Like it's gonna be Nico on the outsides.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably have Kirk in the slot, and they probably need another 2 on the outside.
Texans.
Because otherwise you're looking at like Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie.
Yeah, this is another team that needs defensive tackle very badly, but they also don't have a right tackle right now. So, right tackle or defensive tackle, I am going to go with the value for me, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go Josh Simmons and just move him to right tackle if I'm Houston.
Their offensive line sucked last year.
Yeah.
They were really bad. So I'm on board 100%. They were really bad. And they can find another outside guy at receiver later. Like they don't need to take one here.
Yeah. And once again, this defensive tackle depth is making everything get pushed down. But like I really think they can wait.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be I think the second and third round of this draft. I don't think there's a lot of
running backs.
There's going to be a zillion running backs, and like honestly, I feel like it could be a third of that second and third round could actually just be those 2 positions. Like that's how deep it is this year. All right, getting to the LA Rams, probably thinking receiver again, but they paid Tutu Atwell $10 million guaranteed today. Sean, how'd you feel about that?
I imagine there's a lot of GMs in the NFL that are really pissed at them right now.
Just driving up the value of like the Diami Browns and Darius Slaytons of the world. Because if Tutu can get 10, what the hell do they get? Like, I mean, Jesus. Like,
I think he's like just over like 1,000 yards for his career in 4 years.
Did he score last year? He didn't score one time and didn't play until everybody else was hurt.
That had to be like a Sean McVay. Like, I made this pick by myself, and I'm going to justify it by any means necessary.
Or just like they just love him as a kick returner. Like, what the hell is like? I can't get behind that. But that being said, they still need a number 2 if Kupp is out the door, which seems like that's the case. So I think the value matches up with 2 guys here. It kind of just depends on what you like. I think I'd go Golden just based on the combine, and I think that's a fine pick for them.
Yeah, I mean, him, Ibuka, and Tet would be that tier of 3 for me
Hmm.
at the top. I think
And I still like Burden a lot.
Burden I like. I would put him. He's kind of like by himself in the next tier than the other guys after that.
I'm still in Team Burden above Golden, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. I don't know.
The Rams, I would be fine with Burden going there. I just think he needs a specific team more so than the other guys do, which kind of lowers him for me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not like he's more of a just get it in his hands and let him make a play. Whereas Golden is more of that technician type, which I think is more the Rams type.
Like if you said like I could see like Liam Cohen using him very well in Jacksonville.
Yeah, especially now that they got rid of
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, just got rid of Kirk in the slot, so like that kind of fits if they makes it there.
Is he gonna fall that far in the second round? Maybe not.
It's possible. He did not play well this year. Like there's a real possibility that he makes it to the second. All right, we got 27. This is gonna be you to the Ravens.
All right, give me Donovan Izaraku.
All right.
He would be my edge 3.
He's pretty good, man.
He's really fucking good.
Pretty damn good. Like I like what I see from him, and he was good in the Senior Bowl.
Really annoyed with all of like these like blurbs on him. Like he does this, and this great. There's no negatives and like early second round pick. Like I don't understand.
I think it's just he played like Boston College, the level of competition. You know, like that whole thing has something to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he's a top 20, probably 23 or so player for me. I haven't done any rankings or anything.
Yeah, it's hard to then tell me that Mike Green is going that far ahead of him. I don't.
Like, if you're just talking about like who I like better, there's no chance I'm taking Shamar Stewart over Izaraku.
Not a chance.
But that's just the way it is in the NFL, like with the athleticism piece.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with, out of this class, the most sacks in his career. Maybe not Abdul Carter, but like outside of Abdul Carter, like it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it makes sense to me for him to. I mean, this is such a classic Ravens pick. Just scoop up the value on whoever falls down your way and just run it. We got the Lions here at 28, who could use some interior line. They could also use edge. I think the value lines up really well here with James Pierce.
More than Booker.
I do love Booker, and Booker fits the scheme. Oh, man. Man, now you're driving a hard bargain.
He's a guard.
Booker's a first-round player. And I don't know if any of these other teams are going to take him. Maybe the Eagles.
The Eagles will definitely take him if he's at 32. I guarantee you.
So I don't want that to happen, so I'm going here.
You think you want Howie to get this guy at 32?
I don't want Howie to have. It's not fair. Like every year this happens, and they're probably gonna get a fucking awesome player here too. Anyway, it doesn't even matter.
Probably.
All right, so Booker just makes sense. I think Zeitler retired. Like they need a guard. It makes sense. Who are we going here with the Commanders?
Yeah.
Fresh off a Debo
this
trade.
This team needs a fucking ton of help, even though they were.
Should we talk about Debo for a second? That kind of has some relevance for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a welcome back to the family kind of trade. Coming back to the guys that drafted him makes sense to me. I mean, I don't really have a problem with paying his contract when you've got a rookie deal and like you're not really paying him anyway. Like you gotta pay people. So, maybe fine. I think he's probably, I don't know, probably like a wide receiver 3-4 in fantasy next year.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he stays healthy and is in shape, I think there's just really nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it is hard to judge. Like, was it injuries, the ammonia? Was he just washed? Is it a combination of both? It'll really be hard to tell. I think we're gonna find out pretty quick.
I mean, even if he's washed, like you said, they didn't invest hardly anything as far as draft capital, and they're not paying a quarterback, so who cares? Might as well run it.
I'm gonna go with Starks. I think it's just best player available.
And just value
to me.
Great value.
Yeah. I mean,
they just
need him with Sanders still in the secondary. I like that.
I love Sanders still. They just don't. They haven't had good safety play in quite a while either. So like they've always been running out like Cam Curl and like average level players. And Starks could be a really good center fielder.
A month ago, I could not give them Jahdae Barron fast enough to go with that defense, but I don't think he's gonna make it there at this point.
I don't think so either. We got the Bills here at 30. I'll go with a guy that's
the beef.
Good, really good. Has character concerns, so he might not go early where he should. I'm going to go Walter Nolan.
The beef.
He's strong. I think he's just an awesome player, and I think it's
a good compliment to Oliver.
And like he's like I don't want to go against. I don't want to run in the middle of that. I'll tell you that. Like that's the last thing I want to do. So I think it's just like an ideal fit in the middle of that defense. I just have some concerns. The character stuff like could push him into the second. So we'll see.
Yeah, this draft really feels like it's gonna fall Buffalo's way in whichever way they want it to. I think defensive tackle is so deep they can just get their pick of guy there. If a wide receiver falls that they like, I think that is definitely an option for them.
In the cards.
They can take wherever corner falls to them if they like to. Definitely see that to go with Benford. But yeah,
right.
I think being at the end of the first round feels pretty good this year. The middle of the first round is where you like the 8 to like 17, 18. Is that where it feels kind of weird to you?
It gets muddy in there for sure because like there are guys that like it's basically if you look at like Eamon Walker, Green, Zabel, Campbell, like those guys could go at the end of the first for all I know.
Yeah,
I mean, like
I don't hate any of those picks, but I'm not like hell yeah, we hit a home run.
Oh yeah, like to me, once you get past 10, and like Genty goes essentially, like that's where to me there's a big drop off. Like and just like you could argue Zabel as high as 11. Or he could be in the second round. I have no idea. That's why this draft, I think, is going to be really
fun. A fun one.
Yeah.
Good luck, Charlie Campbell.
Yeah, he's pretty accurate. We'll see. I'll follow whatever he does. Though it's worked out recently. He had Penix to the Falcons. It's crazy business. All right, so we got 2 more picks here. We have the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Let me just open up that offensive tackle page for me. Just double check.
We can double check.
I feel like it's going to be Connerly, but. Yeah, it's Connerly.
Yeah,
that feels like such a.
I gotta tell you, there's some guys down here I really like.
There are
really like. I'll tell you what.
There's definitely a couple guards in here.
Like this guy, I like Anthony Belton a lot. Big fan.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot. He was great at the Senior Bowl. I think Mbo is really good.
I haven't seen anybody not give them Connerly, which makes me really think that's definitely not going to happen.
Exactly.
And with Connerly, like his biggest issues have been getting kind of bull rushed, which is exactly
he got smoked a few times at the Senior Bowl, like on pass rushers that were bigger.
And like, are the Chiefs going to be super excited about a guy when he gets beat, he gets bull rushed after watching the tape of that Super Bowl? I don't know. Honestly, to me, I prefer the other tackle on the board, but
you like Ursery?
I like Ursery better, but Connerly's fine. I think he's definitely like.
I think they're like about the same. I don't have either of them as first round players. I think they're both like. I think they're both like mid to late seconds. I have Trapillo higher. I would probably have Mbo higher, honestly.
Yeah, Trapillo is still so raw.
I like Trapillo though. He's so big.
They just took Suamataia last year. You want another raw offensive tackle?
Yeah, give it to him. We don't know what they're doing anyway. Who cares?
Who's still on the board at guard? Like I feel like I'm gonna like a lot of the guards.
Probably a couple of guards left. Yeah. No, maybe not. I lied. What about centers? Is that part of this? I guess it is.
Yeah. Yeah, because Wilson.
Wow, it's way worse than I thought it was. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a drop off here.
Yeah, for sure. But like, there's no way they're not taking a tackle, right?
But here's a part of it. Like a guy like Mbo, he could play guard. Like he's a shorter tackle. Like he's 6'3".
Yeah, I have him going towards the end of the second round.
I mean, I have him higher. I think he's worth a high.
I like him. I just think I haven't seen him go very high.
I don't even know who Donovan Jackson is. I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched anything of him.
he's gonna be a really good guard.
But it
He kicked
sounds
out
like
to
he'd be a really good player, and he's from Ohio State. So.
he got kicked out to tackle after Simmons got hurt, and he got absolutely emasculated by Abdul Carter.
Oh,
But outside of that, he was pretty solid at tackle this year. But he's
if
going to
that's
be
the
a
only
guard.
guy you lose to, I'm okay with that.
I like him as like an early second guard for a team this year. But
I'll have to watch him at some point. I haven't got too into the tackle class because I just know the Bucks are not going to take a tackle. So
yeah, wow, they're really fucking good.
Anywho, who are we going here?
Connerly.
All right, so Connerly's the pick.
Yeah,
I have seen this connection quite a bit, so I totally understand. And it makes sense. They need a tackle. They just need one. So it's, I mean, do they need a guard now because of Tooney now, like gone? Like, I mean, obviously there's none left here for our draft, but like if one fell in the real draft, like I could see
I mean, really depends. Like, it's not like it's a great free agent class of tackles, but like, I don't know, maybe they sign Ronnie Stanley or something. They go crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, so we're here at the end of the first with the Eagles. I am picking for your Super Bowl champion Eagles. Value-wise, Pierce is sticking out like a sore thumb. It seems like an Eagles-y kind of guy as far as the edge rush goes. I also think they need interior because Milton Williams probably is not coming back. So there's a lot of guys that you could take there. I mean,
this pick's gonna end up going to the Browns for Myles Garrett, so it's not gonna matter.
Oh well, that would hurt my soul.
No, I doubt that's gonna happen.
But I just feel,
if you want my opinion, I think it's gonna be interior.
I was leaning interior.
Either side of the ball.
Pierce was just such good value.
Yeah, I don't like the interior offensive line value at this point, so I think it's going to be a D tackle.
Okay, and they like guys with character concerns, so Tyleik Williams it is.
Tyleik Williams, whoa.
I'm on board. I like him. I watched him on Gruden's QB camp, and I'm like, all right, I like this guy, so I'm in. All right, so here's our draft. So let's I know we've gone deep already, an hour and a half here, but let's try to frame this from a dynasty perspective. So let's go through what we think the landing spots might end up being for like a rookie mock, if you will. So, I mean, I think obviously Genty at 1 to the Bears makes a lot of sense. I think Hampton to the Steelers is probably 2 in this scenario. And then from there, it kind of opens up, Sean, based on what we have here. I mean, honestly, a running back high in the second could be 1-3.
Yeah, Cleveland does need a running back.
So, I mean, if they got Travion Henderson, maybe, or Quinshawn, or Caleb Johnson, if you will.
Yeah, I feel like Judkins is going to end up going a lot higher than we think, or we thought a few.
I think Judkins is a lock second.
Yep,
I think he's a lock. So if that's the case, he could go 3.
I think both Ohio State guys are a lock in the second. Caleb Johnson, I still think probably goes in the second, even after a little bit of a disappointing workout.
We just got to find landing spots for all these guys. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's why I think somebody's going to get value nuked based on situation. I don't know who it is going to be, but somebody's going to get nuked. And that's the worst part of every year at running back. Like it happens, it's either the Seahawks are going to take them or some dumb shit, and it's going to nuke everybody involved. And I don't want to be a part of it. I hope I'm not part of it, but it might happen. So outside of that, let's just say a running back goes 3, assuming there's a good landing spot. Then I think it opens up to Tet, Ekbuga, the tight ends. It's kind of tough from there.
Yeah, I mean, Golden going to play with Stafford.
Golden, absolutely. Honestly, Golden might be the best fit, like from a fantasy perspective.
Stafford is the kingmaker.
He certainly fits. So I guess you could basically argue any of those receivers in the first round of the Dynasty rookie mock. And then I think with the landing spots, you could absolutely argue Saints Tyler Warren in the first. I think you can absolutely argue Colson Loveland in the first.
Yeah, I don't love the
Loveland hurts because of the situation.
Colts, but I'm not going to love that going to the Colts.
No, I mean, like Anthony Richardson will complete 9 passes. Yeah. 3 of them will go to Josh Downs, and 2 of them will be to running backs, and then that leaves 4 for the rest. So it's like, what are you going to do? It's just ugly. It's ugly. But I mean, there's no. I would highly doubt that Colson makes it any further than like 2.6 or something in our rookie mock. Like he's
Oh yeah,
going to be at least a what I would consider a premium pick in our draft. All right, so I think that's a good scenario here. We'll definitely do another one of these. I think we're going to definitely do another rookie mock post free agency. I would like to get into, I think the next live stream we do, I'd like to do a closer look at the dynasty teams now that we're kind of out of the thick of the season. I'd like to do like a team needs podcast. I think that might be a good one to go through each dynasty team and kind of get a look at how each team looks before we actually do the deep dive into the full team review podcast later on in the off season. But I think a team needs would be a good one, and maybe we could do team needs and lump that into a free agency podcast as well. So I think we could do both in the same run. So with that, we will see you next time here on the PHU